Now we see Govardhana has appeared. We're so much blessed with the darshan. Govardhana is Krishna is incarnating himself in the form of Govardhana. So actually we're here in the presence of Krishna. If you can imagine how sanctified this place is. There's a very nice story about Govardhana's appearance in the Garga Samhita, which I would like to read to you. It starts off as a conversation between Nanda Maharaj and Sananda. Sri Nanda says, "Oh, very intelligent Sananda, you have heard much and you know everything. We have heard from your mouth the glories of Rajmandal. Now please tell me about the birth of the mountain named Govardhana. Why do they call it the best of mountains and the king of mountains? From what world did the Jamuna river come? You are best of the wise, please explain to me its glories." So now Sananda begins speaking to tell this story, history. One day in Hastinapur, as many people listened, King Pandu asked pious Bhishma, as the original personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who is the king of Goloka and the master of countless universes, was about to depart in order to remove the earth's burden. He said to Radha, "O beloved, O frightened one, you should also go to the earth." Radharani said, "My heart cannot be happy in a place where there is no Vrindavan forest, no Jamuna river, and no Govardhana hill." Sri Sananda said, "Then Lord Hari sent a 47 krosha portion of his own abode along with Govardhana in the Jamuna to the earth." A krosha is 2 miles. Worshipped by all the worlds and filled with 24 forests, that land of Vrindavan has now come to the earth. West of Bharatvarsha, in the middle of Shamali Dvipa, Govardhana was born from the wife of King of Mount Drona. The demigod showered flowers on Govardhana, headed by Himalaya and Sumeru. All the mountains came. The great mountains bowed down, circumambulated, properly worshipped, and eloquently glorified Govardhana with these words: "In Goloka, which is filled with gopas, gopis, and cows, you are the mountain of Lord Krishna Chandra, the original personality of Godhead. You are named Govardhana, you are splendidly manifest in the world of Vrindavan, and you are the king of all us mountains. Obeisances to you who are the crown of Goloka, and who sit on Vrindavan's lap. Obeisances to Govardhana, the great parasol of the Supreme Personality of Godhead." After speaking these prayers, the mountains returned to their homes. For this reason, Govardhana is known as the best of mountains and the king of mountains. One day, while he was traveling to holy places, so in other words, Govardhana was not on the earth yet. It was in Shamali Dweep, a different planet. One day, while he was traveling to holy places, the great sage Palastya saw Mount Drona's son Govardhana, who was filled with flowering Madhavi vines, heavy with abundant fruits, filled with the sounds of gushing streams, peaceful, auspicious, with many caves, suitable for performing austerities, filled with jewels, charming, wonderful, with many colorful minerals, beautiful with graceful slopes, filled with many birds, deer, and nectar trees, and decorated with peacock calls, and which gave liberation for they who yearned for it. Palashta, the tiger of sages, approached Mount Drona, and wishing to get his son, spoke. "O Drona, you are the king of mountains, you are worshipped by all the demigods, you are filled with transcendental medicinal herbs, and thus you always restore the people's lives. I come to you with a request. I am a great sage, I live in Kashi, please give me your son Govardhana. I do not wish anything else." Kashi is also named for Varanasi. The great city named Koshi is the home of Lord Vishveshvara. A sinner who dies there at once attains liberation. The Ganges flows there, and there Lord Vishwanath resides. There where there is no mountain, I will place your son. I perform austerities on your son Govardhana, who is filled with trees and vines. That is my desire." Sri Sananda said, hearing Palashta's words, Drona became filled with love for his son. his eyes filled with tears, he spoke to the sage. So he's very attached to his son, Govardhana. And now the sage is going to ask you, give me your son as charity. So this is unbearable. He's feeling great, he's crying, tears are coming to the eyes. Oh, I have to give up my son Govardhana. You see, he's greatly feeling the pain of separation. Sri Dana said, I am filled with love for my son. My son is very dear to me. O great sage, I fear your curse. Let me speak to him. In other words, he was afraid of getting cursed, so I better give him up or I'm going to get cursed. So let me speak to him. O son, go with this sage to the beautiful Bharatvarsha, the land of karma, where the people attain the 3 goals of life and even liberation in a single moment. Sri Govardhana said, O sage, how will you take me? I am 8 yojanas long, 5 yojanas wide, and 2 yojanas tall. Pretty big. A yojana is 8 miles. So you can imagine pretty high mountain. It makes Mount Everest, what is it? Mount Everest looks like a little hill. 16 miles high. That's how big Govardhana was formerly. See, Sri Palasha said, my son, please sit in my hand and I will carry you to Kashi. Sri Govardhana said, I will stay where you place me. I will not leave that place. I promise you this. Now that promise is going to have a lot of significance in a minute, you'll see. Wherever you place me, I promise I will not leave that place. Now we'll just see what happens. Sri Sananda said, his eyes filled with tears, the great mountain Govardhana bowed down before his father Drona and then climbed under the sage's hand. Now you can imagine how strong the sage is. He can carry a mountain that's 64 miles long, 40 miles wide, and 16 miles high on his hand. Pretty powerful sage. Carrying the mountain in his right hand, he showed his great power to the people. Moving very slowly, he finally came to Vrajmandal. Now that's not where he's going. He's on his way to Kashi. He was passing through Vrajmandal. Remembering his previous life as he traveled, Mount Govardhana said to himself, Sri Krishna, the original personality of Godhead, who is the master of countless universes, will descend to this place, Vraj, and enjoy childhood playing with cowherd boys and then the pastimes of youth. Here, Lord Hari will enjoy pastimes of paying a toll and pastimes of jealous anger. For this reason, I should not leave this place where the Jamuna flows. Now, Govardhana, as soon as he comes to Vraj, he immediately knows, I don't want to leave here. I don't want to go to Kashi. I want to stay here in Vraj. From Goloka, Sri Krishna will come here with Radha. By seeing him, I will make my life perfect. Thinking this in his mind, now what's going to happen now, you see? Govardhana made himself very heavy in the sage's hand. Overcome with exhaustion, the sage could not remember what had happened before. Tormented by the mountain's great weight, to lighten his burden, the sage put him down in Vrajmandal. Ki Jai. After bathing in the water there and becoming clean, the great sage Palasha said to Mount Govardhana, stand up. When the heavy mountain did not move, the great sage grasped it with his mystic strength. Oh, the sage embraced him and spoke sweet words. Mount Govardhana, the son of Dhruva, did not move in even the space of a finger. Sri Palasha said, come, O best of mountains, don't make yourself heavy. Don't make yourself heavy. I know you're angry. Tell me why at once. Sri Govardhana said, O sage, there is no fault on your part. You have put me down, and now I will never move from this place. That was my promise I made to you. Then abandoning his attempt to move the mountain, Palasha, the tiger of sages, his senses filled with anger and his lips trembling, cursed Govardhana, the son of Dhruva. O arrogant mountain, you would not fulfill my desire, therefore every day you will become smaller by the size of a sesame seed. Sri Sananda said, "Oh Nanda, so Master Rishi left for Kashi, Mount Govardhana began to shrink by the side of the sesame seed day after day." So you can imagine how we could actually calculate from the size of a sesame seed how high Govardhana is now. Went from 16 miles high to this high. We can calculate how many days it was been since he was cursed. You can estimate it. Any scientist in our group, you could do that. How high is a sesame seed, and how many sesame seeds would it take for calculate how high Govardhana is right now? Maybe about, I don't know how high it is, the highest point, but that'd be a lot of days you could calculate. As long as and now here's a wonderful proclamation from the Garga Samhita, and it's a great blessing actually. As long as the Bhagavata Ganges is present, and as long as Mount Govardhana is present, the power of Kali Yuga will not be present. The full power of Kali Yuga will not be present. So, in other words, Govardhana Hill, sitting right here, is holding off the influence of Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga's influence is minimized by the presence of Govardhana. So, Govardhana is blessing this. So now the last verse. "I have spoken to you the story of Mount Govardhana's appearance in this world, a sacred story that removes from human beings the greatest sins, that is very wonderful, and that gives the greatest liberation. It is not surprising that this story is so beautiful and glorious in this world." Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan.
Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan.
Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohan.
Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohan.
Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan.
Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan.
Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavan.
Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavan.
Govardhan Bharkama ki jai.